Hey, all my Crimsonites, and welcome to the Crimson Cure channel, where we embrace our femininity, increase our womanly value, and celebrate our brothers. So join me on our feminine journey to learn, heal, and grow. Hey there, everybody. How we doing today? Hopefully everyone is doing well. So I wanted to talk about something. I've been wanting to talk about this since last week. And I thought that this is something that we needed to discuss as well. Basically, Kevin Samuels was right, as we knew. So Kendra G appeared on a small YouTube channel called TMI. And actually the hosts of the channel is my son and Tami Mallory. Okay. So it's interesting that their channel is small. I would have thought that those two would have had enough social media sway individually to come together to have a bigger following. But that's just my opinion. I didn't watch all of her appearance on the show because in this particular video, they talk about a lot of topics, and then towards the middle of the video, they introduce Kendra G as a guest and, ask her a few questions and have a conversation with her. And I don't know that we're going to necessarily hear anything so profound, as it is still something that needs to be discussed, if you understand what I'm talking about. So what I'm going to do is I am going to I'm going to back this up.
And the bots online that are designed to make our communities look like we just in disarray. And I think we have to be real intentional about making sure we show all sides. And yes, there are some areas where we don't agree, where men and women struggle. There's tensions, but there's tension. But that exists in every community. And of course, for whatever reason, social media and media in general gives this impression that we're just totally not on the same page. And I really love how even in your music segment, you talk about Tef being someone who is attempting to try to bring us together. And so I don't even want to use the language battle of the sexes. I want to talk, even though we may talk about differences, still it is through us attempting to bond and understand one another that this whole series that we put together, that's what it's all about. And so for the next several weeks, we're going to be really sort of delving into the ins and outs of the relationships, the intimate relationships, and even the professional relationships and the movement relationships between the men and women of our communities, and how we learn how to deal with conflict and disagreement, and maybe find me a husband. Like that might happen in the midst of, maybe I'll understand more about myself. So today we've got a sister on. Man, I've been watching her lives and her show. And just I'm inspired, and then some days I'm not inspired. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna be by myself because it just
it just ain't gonna work.
Because it's just not gonna work for me. So Kendra G, a TV and radio personality. She was a host on 107.5 in Chicago, but she has since left that job to focus 100% on this new baby that we're going to be talking about so much today, which really kind of gives her the expertise to come and be a part of this Bonding of the Sexes series. Kendra G of Kendra G Singles. That's me. I need to be on the show.
Listen, now, I definitely want to pick up off of when you said find your husband. We're going to talk about that more, because I want to know, do you really want to get married?
No, maybe not. Really? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's what some women should be okay with, because I think a lot of women say, I want a husband, but do they think about, do you really want to be a wife? Like, a wife really is a job. Like, you are signing up to put everything second, career and your family, children, or whatever now trumps that. And I'm not a person that feels like you have to be married to be validated. But I think once people accept what they really want, then they'll understand why they keep attracting certain people in their lives. So that's why I said, do you really want to be a wife, girl?
Yeah.
Now, before we get to Tamika answering the question, because Tamika will answer this question, and her answer is, you'll have to listen to her answer. But the question that Kendra just posed, I don't think she would have posed it 3 years ago. Okay. But considering the thousands of individuals, particularly women, that have come to her show looking for, love, looking for hookups, looking for whatever, man or whatever it is, she has had to listen to a lot of craziness that these women are on, a lot of foolishness. And when she last talked to Kevin Samuels, her show, she had already started her single show, but it hadn't been going on quite that long, right? And she had some pushback for Kevin, if we remember that conversation. But now, I don't know if I'm ready to say she has made a 180. If she has, it would behoove her not to say that. If she has made a 180 in her ideal and her perception about particularly Black women, because mostly Black people come to her show, and the shenanigans, right? And the different scenarios they be coming up with, the stuff they say, because slowly but surely she has had to do a similar thing that Kevin Samuels did on his show, which I don't believe that she ever thought that she would do, or I don't think she thought that she would have to do it. But the women be coming up with so much cap and foolishness that you can't listen to them talk and you have an ounce of sense and not call it out to some degree, and say, hey, what are you really saying here? Because, I got you and I'm trying to sister girl with you. But at the same time, you're making it very difficult for me to sister girl with you, because you are up here telling a lot of lies. You are up here just really on a lot of foolishness. And I can't support that. I cannot listen to you be on this level of foolishness. And I just don't say nothing about what we just heard, anywhere from messed up personal situations of women being married and still coming on there looking for a man, to just outright lies. You said something and then a few sentences later you said something else, and it's like, I got to sit here and listen to this lie. And I don't think Kendra was born in Chicago, but she been in Chicago long enough that she got some of that Chicago in her. And it's like, see, what you're not gonna do is sit here and play in my face. You're not gonna sit here and say all this foolishness to me and think I'm not gonna say nothing about that. You just lied 2 seconds ago. So I'm supposed to listen to the story? I'm not gonna listen to that story. So she has come now to a point where she is asking more directly, and she's saying, let me come back to you for a second before we start back. And she's saying, I don't think that y'all are really ready to be wives because it's work. Now, like I said before, Kendra herself is now in a relationship. I don't know how serious it is. Seem in depth. Okay. I don't know if she is engaged or not. But I know that she's in a relationship. She's posted it on her Instagram. She's posted the man that she's with and everything. So I'm hoping that the things that she has learned by observation, and also the things that she has learned through experiencing, a lot of the choices that she has made in regards to her romantic life, I'm hoping that she done accumulated enough information that she can make that relationship work. But here's the thing. She gotta ask the question now. This is the same question that Kevin Samuels' content was answering. It was the question that his content overall brought up, put it on the Summer Jam screen. You had a lot of women calling in that was basically proving his point, and Black women hated him for it. Basically, he's saying, listen, y'all are running around here talking about you want to be married, but you don't even understand the station of a wife. You don't want to be a wife. You don't actually want to be a wife. You just want to show one of these off, but you don't want to do the actual actions that come along with the station of wifehood. And Kendra is 100% correct when she says being a wife is work. There's work. You do not get to just sit there and be married and sit on your tuffet and, you know, and all of these types of things and talking about you're a wife. And because there is a work that comes along with that position, because every position has work, that every position got a job description. There's a description for every position, whether you are entry level in the mailroom, whether you are mopping floors because you're doing the janitorial side of things, or you are climbing a corporate ladder. There is work to be done at every position. You could be back there dropping chicken for Popeyes. There's work to be done. You got a certain set of instructions. So when you come in at that fast food place that you work for, you know you got to do food prep before we open. Give you in the morning shift or whatever. You got to come in a little bit before we actually open. You know what I'm saying? And prep them little powder eggs. You got to go ahead and cut them little tomatoes up. You know, you got to go ahead and make sure them potatoes is cut. So when somebody want fries, we just drop them. We ain't got to sit there and cut the potato and skin the potato and all of that. You got to do the food prep. So when folks come up in there and they want this and they want that, they want a Mc whatever, a McGriddle or whatever they eating, you know, or they want a whatever it is, and they want a chicken sandwich, they want a whatever. They don't have to wait. This was called fast food for a reason, because it's a lot of prep that go. You prep everything, set everything up, and then once we open and start taking orders, just drop the fries. That's 5 minutes. Drop the chicken. It's already battered. Put the, you know, cheese right there. Put the buns over there. All of that. So even a job that no one thinks very highly of still comes with work to be done in that job. So being a wife, holding the position of a wife, is the same. It's not no different. Just like the position of a husband holds responsibilities that he don't just get to, you know, come in like King Tut and I'm the husband, and then nothing after that. He ain't got to have no system or instruction. He ain't got to have no leadership. He ain't got to have nothing like that. Just I'm the husband. You know, that doesn't work. That's not how that goes. So why do women think that the position of wife means now all of a sudden there isn't any work for the position? There's no responsibility that accompanies the position. So by Kendra having had so many examples of women coming on there and saying this foolishness, now she got to think. Now this question becomes pertinent. And going back to Kevin Samuel's overall content, again, Black women hated him for this content. And all he was doing was saying, y'all are not ready for the position you apply for. And not only was he saying you're not ready, they really got mad at him because he was telling them why they were not ready. And to take it a step further than that, he wasn't just telling them why they weren't ready. They were demonstrating 9 times out of 10 why they had divorced, or why they were headed for divorce, or why they had never been married, or why, whatever situation they were in. And that's the part that they didn't like, is him saying, listen, you're not ready to be a wife, but this is why. They got so triggered over him condensing down a concept. So he condensed the female concept down to fit, feminine, and friendly. Now, if you listen to what he was saying, he wasn't just saying that. Those were traits that outwardly right away can grab you. But he didn't just leave it there. He didn't just leave it there. There were lots of things as he would speak to the women who would call on his show and things of that nature, and have a whole entire conversation with them about their situation. And he was coming from a male perspective as to say, this is why it didn't work the way that you thought it was going to do, or this is why you didn't get the outcome that you were looking for. I'm not going to sister girl you, because I'm not your sister girl. So, and it was up to them to accept the critique or not. Nobody was twisting anybody's arm. And Black women were so quick to be like, oh, well, he must hate us because he's saying all these things about us. No, it's not that he's just sitting up there saying things about you. You're demonstrating what's wrong. And if somebody got to point it out. And I just cannot fathom that the congregation of Black women is this dense. Y'all that dense? You ignorant? Huh? You ain't got no sense, no critical thinking skills? Is that what we saying? Because how many years do various different content creators got to say what's going on? And for y'all to use y'all usual comebacks. If it's a man that's doing the correction, he's sassy. If it's a woman doing a correction, she a mammy. Like, when are y'all gonna get new insults? Get a new insult. That can't be the only insult you got in the chamber. Can't be. I'm mad that you giving me the same insult from 10 years ago, 5 years ago. Think of something else. You that uncreative? Mammy and pick me all you got? Anytime a Black man try to tell you something, he's sassy. I know the LGBT community stay mad at y'all because everything y'all don't like about a man, y'all put it on them. Gay men ought to stand up against that and tell y'all to stop putting all of the bad traits or just the stuff you don't like men to say and stuff like that and put that on their head. They ought to protest you. If I was a man in the rainbow community, I'd be so mad at y'all. I be so mad at y'all. Get tired of y'all. Every time you don't like something about a man, it's gay. So what you saying about gay men? See, I would turn, if I was one of them, I would turn that back on y'all. I would protest y'all. Y'all be so mad at a rainbow man. I would protest y'all. Now Tamika is going to answer the question. Kendra asked her if she was ready to be a wife, though. She want a husband, but is she ready to be a wife? And listen to Tamika's answer.
I mean, you know what I want. And first of all, thank you, Kendra, for joining TMI today.
Here we go.
So let's go back and start at the beginning. But I would say that yes, I definitely want a husband, but I don't know if I want a husband for the right reasons. And that's something that I'm checking in with. I want a husband because I believe that from my parents' perspective, right? I watch my parents, and my mom had a stroke, and now my dad is her caregiver, right? And she had been his caregiver all the way up to the point of her becoming disabled based upon this terrible, terrible health crisis. And I see that, I don't know if this is the right reason, but I see how they have been one another's solid rock. And I feel like as I get older, like what's going to happen to me if I don't have someone there that is like committed to me in that way? That's the thing for me. I don't know anymore about a whole bunch of things, but I do know that you're supposed to have a partner. So I'm trying to figure it out. But anyway, let's get started. Let's go backwards. Let's go backwards. Let's talk about your background.
Now, I just wanted y'all to hear Tamika's answer. Tamika gave her I might be getting a dog and dying alone. But I don't want to say that because when I watched Kevin Samuels and when I watched Kendra G, I don't know whether or not I'm actually qualified for getting what I think I want or quote unquote deserve. I might actually be in the dog purchasing category. Because what's Tamika's what in her late 30s? Let me see. Nope, she's 43. So Miss Tamika ain't but 3 years younger than me. Oh, that's dangerous. That's dangerous. That's dangerous. You in your 40s. Now she don't look bad. Because I thought she was in her late 30s. But she don't look bad. Tamika do not look bad. You know, she don't look had. But she looking down the barrel of loneliness. Because if at 43, you ain't making nothing happen, you have been in a lot of different circles. Tami Mallory has been in a lot of different circles. She's not an entertainer so much as she's called herself an activist in this, that, and the third. Now, I have done, I did a show years ago on Tamika. It wasn't too favorable. But there were several things interesting about her answer. She says she thinks that she wants a husband for the wrong reason. And then if you notice, she goes on to talk about how her mother and father are married. And she said that her mother was her father's caregiver for a while until she fell ill and disabled. And now her husband is her caregiver in the later stages of her life. So what that's telling us is that she don't want to get old and not have nobody there with her in the later stages of her life, because I don't even think Tamika Mallory has children. She's got wow. I forgot about that. Tamika Mallory is a single mother. Her son name is Tariq, and it's saying that the son's father was deleted in 2001. Okay. So the father of her child is no longer with us. We got to continue this conversation because these women are coming out and being the example. They are being the they're being the cautionary tale. They're being the cautionary tale. What not to do. Cuz in 2001, that was 23 years ago. Miss Mallory was 20 years old. Mm. So a young single mother, the father of her child Pat was deleted. So he's no longer with us, was unable to help her raise her son. And then 23 years later, son is grown. And now she don't have no man in her life now. Hmm. After these messages, we'll be right back. Because I need everybody to take a moment and go to ashkicking.com and grab you some of this fabulous, wonderful, fantabulous body butter. Okay, I still have not transitioned over to lotion because I don't have to. The reason I don't have to is because Ash Kicking's body butter is some of the most luxurious feeling, silky, easily absorbed into the skin, leaving you moisturized and soft all day long. You don't have to keep reapplying it or any of that. So therefore, it lasts you for a long time as well. So you definitely want to go and support. Go to ashkicking.com. The link is pinned to the top of the chat. If this is going to be your first order, you definitely want to take advantage of the 10% discount using the promo code Crimson at checkout. Okay, once again, that is ashkicking.com and the link is pinned at the top of the chat. I don't know how many likes I need, but I owe y'all a bam, 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 bam. You gotta hit the like button, bam, bam. You gotta So go ahead, hit the like button for me. Thank you, Farrah, says she wants to say Kevin was right. Thank you, Miss Lucasey, for your super sticker. Thank you, Flavor Country, says gonna come a day when she's gonna give Kevin his just due. I started seeing Kendra changing a year ago. Thank you, Scorched Earth, for your super sticker, and also you, Ramel. Thank you for your contributions. I appreciate the contributions as well. So it's interesting that Tamika goes on to answer the question with the anecdotal situation of her parents. So basically, she's saying, I may need a husband so that when I'm too old to do for myself, when I'm too old to be a strong, independent woman, when I'm tired, when my body breaks down, when I'm no longer at physical or maybe even mental capacity to do what I'm doing right now today, I need a safety net, and that safety net needs to be a man, a husband. Then so first of all, she was right when she said she don't think she want a husband for the right reasons, because that is not the right reason to want a husband. So she's absolutely correct with that. The second thing that is going on with her answer is that she's still using the word partner at her big age. These are not partners. Husbands are not partners. Wives are not partners. Husband and wife are particular stations that don't have anything to do with partnership. And the only reason that people get caught up with saying partner is because husbands and wives work as a team. So there's teamwork involved in a marriage. And so because there's teamwork involved in a marriage, people like to confuse that with partnership. And I always make a distinction between marriage and partnerships, because partnerships are not meant to last always. Partnerships have expiration dates. Partnerships are formed with particular things in agreement and with particular goals in mind. And once those goals are reached, or if those goals cannot be reached, then the partnership is meant to dissolve after a certain point. No different than the sponsorships that I have received over the course of time on this channel. It is a business arrangement. We are not married. So the people who come to me and say, I would like to sponsor the show, we create a contract. It is for a particular amount of money over a particular span of time. Things are stipulated within the contract that benefit both me and the sponsor. We both have to agree to that contract and abide by it. If for whatever reason the contract is going to be breached or breached by either one of us, then there are things within the contract that describe what happens after that. Nothing more, nothing less. Partnerships are formed with the accepted idea that at some point they're going to dissolve. It could be months, it could be weeks, it could be years. But eventually, the goals under which a partnership was formed, in order to meet those goals, eventually those goals are going to get met. Now, you may extend the partnership based on the success of whatever it is that you're doing. Maybe you say, you know what, let's add a little bit time to this, because, we're both making money hand over fist and we're really, really being benefited. So let's extend the time on this arrangement that we have together. It's still mutually beneficial and things of that nature. That's the reason why I differentiate between marriage and partnership. Because as soon as the marriage is no longer, quote unquote, mutually beneficial, usually the woman decides that, then all of a sudden the marriage doesn't mean anything. Mutual benefit means whenever she's tired of it, irreconcilable differences, whenever she's not happy anymore, whenever he's, quote unquote, not fulfilling her anymore, and all of these sorts of things. So she decides to end the partnership, which either of the two parties may do. Now, there may be consequences. This is why You know what I'm saying? You getting the whole alimony thing and the splitting of, if there are assets or anything of that nature. This is why they're getting split like that, because it's like a business partnership dissolving not amicably. So if you have two business partners, two businesses that enter into an agreement with one another, and one of the people or entities breach the contract, and the contract ends and it's not an amicable end, sometimes they arbitrate, sometimes there's an arbiter. Can these two entities reconcile back under the original contract? If not, then we need to completely dissolve this arrangement. Now, when we dissolve this arrangement, now we have to figure what were the numbers now. You know, how much did this one contribute to the success of the overall thing? So now that dictates how much this entity is going to walk away with in terms of profits, in terms of, do you understand what I'm saying? It's all very, very transactional. So this is why I don't like partnerships. Marriages are not partnerships. Just because we perform teamwork and we work towards goals together, the difference is that there is no set time where it's meant to dissolve. It dissolves on death do us part. That's when it dissolves, and that could be at any point. And it is not contingent on whether or not we were able to complete the goals. Somebody didn't complete. You understand what I'm saying? So she's still not thinking of it as a spiritual thing. I'm going to get to the super chats because there are some interesting things in it. But we're going to allow her to kind of move on a bit. So they talk about her background, but we're going to skip forward.
Okay, you a Taurus.
We're Taurus. Trying to take out Tinder one day.
Okay. You got big goals.
Yeah.
Big goals. Yeah.
So what have you, like, has doing this show changed your perspective on relationships? Tell me something that you thought before that changed your perspective now.
A lot of women want the same type of guy. And it doesn't matter what kind of woman she is, whether she's in shape, not in shape, educated, not educated. She wants Idris Elba. She wants the tall, dark-skinned man that has good money, is going to provide for her and love her, be faithful, never see another woman a day of her life, give her good sex when she wants to have good sex, work a lot, but don't work so much because I need you to go with me to church every Sunday, be home at night, pay all the bills, and yeah, that's what she wants.
But you didn't think that before? Before you thought that people wanted a more diverse partner?
Well, to me, this is why it's kind of like you. You know, what I also learned is my average life is a 1% life, right? So for me, outside looking in, I didn't think it was far-fetched because I live in a world of successful Black men, right? And attractive. They don't always want to get married, but that's my common world. What I didn't realize is that people who don't even live in that common world, they still want that man. So what's happening is, like, a lot of women are negating their options. The real life option is the option in your face. So when you go to the grocery store, when you go to church, when you go wherever you're going in your life, whoever that man is, whoever that woman is, that is your real life option. The internet has all made us connected. Right now, you guys are in New York.
Now, before she continues, she's telling the truth. Kendra's telling the truth. Yes, Kendra lives like the top 5 to 1%. Kendra is wealthy. Kendra G is wealthy. She's not just a couple of $1,000s here and there. No, she's wealthy. You should see the kind of stuff that she posts on Instagram. And I'm not swayed by material items, but I know when people don't have it and they stunting, and when they got it and that's not a stunt. It's just what where they are monetarily. And then I do believe that the man she's with is also wealthy. Okay. So she do live like the top 5, I would say maybe 5%. That's her tax bracket. Okay. And so what she's saying is that she has consistently been, because of her line of work, what her line of work has been over these past 15 years or so, 10 years or so, it has always placed her around the top 10, 5, 1% of Black men. Okay. Wealthy men, right? Is placed her in that point, in that circle of men. Okay. Which is why I said what I said a long time ago. Come on, Kendra. So the point that she's making is the high value man that all the women want. She's saying that that's a regular day to her, but she also realizes that it's rare. That's for her and women like her, other people like her in a certain tax bracket. What she's saying is you got to be real, because where you are, the men in your actual vicinity, not the men over the internet, the men in your actual vicinity are your actual options. Those are your options, not these 1% men that you'll never rub shoulders with. You'll never be in the same circle. They'll never be around to notice you. And you can't make it into those rooms that them men sit in anyway. You can't get into that room because you don't know nothing about that room. Okay? You don't know nothing about that room. So, baby, you can't talk about you want a man that make $500,000 a year. Where you see that man at? Where is he at in your reality? He not nowhere in your reality. Do he exist? Yeah, he exists somewhere. He just don't exist where you can get him. You can't get him. If for nothing more than tax bracket, you can't get him. You can't do it. So she's basically saying average men are for average women. And this is the truth. Average men are for average women. And there's nothing wrong with that. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. She's basically saying you gotta be more real and not look to the internet to give you a warped sense of your value as a woman and what you can get. That is not real. It's false. It's a false dynamic that's being presented to you. She's telling the absolute truth. But who said that? In terms of talking about high value men and all of that type of stuff, Kevin said that. Because see, what people like to miss is when he was talking about high value men, yes, he was talking about money, but he wasn't just talking about money. This is why he excluded entertainers like ball players and things of that nature. They have money, but do y'all want to know why he excluded entertainers and ball players and football players and basketball players? Do y'all want to know why he excluded those men? Put a 1 in the chat if you want to know. Why did he exclude those men from high value men? Okay. The reason that he was excluding them is because high value man is not contingent on the money that you make solely. The entertainer, the ball player, the this one and the that one, he did something that is actually rare. He has a talent and he's being paid for it. He's a high paid employee. Okay. He's a high paid employee. The difference between him and a man that earns about that same amount or close to without being an entertainer is the other components of the man that make him able to earn it. See, it's not that he can just dribble a ball or pass a ball or catch a ball. And there's nothing wrong with that. But it's not about him being able to rap and all kinds of stuff. It's about who is the man that actually has the capacity to work, to think, to build in such a way that wealth and abundance is the outcome. Do we understand? Now, he didn't say these words, but the high valueness comes from inculcating all of the values. Notice again, wealth is last, not because it's unimportant, but because it is the accumulation. It is the culmination of all previous 9 values. And wealth does not just mean financial riches, it means an abundance in the life. So a man that is able to achieve a status of wealth in his life isn't just someone getting a high paycheck, right? He's the man that developed his internal values in order to achieve the external values. That's the difference between these two men. Because a lot of times the ball player, the rap, when those checks stop, he's unable to accumulate that same amount of money. Okay? When his career is over, because he made it on a talent rather than, you understand? There are some men who can't stop somebody, they can't stop getting a check, because if somebody stopped writing them a check, they just gonna fall. And it's some men that make their own checks. They just make their own checks. And so even if they lose wealth, because a lot of the most wealthy men have lost their wealth before, and you wouldn't know it, because in a few years, he's gonna do it again, because that's who he is. He has the internal values to recreate the outcome. He can reproduce that outcome again. It's not luck. It's not, you know what I'm saying, just by chance. He can redo that. That is the high value man. Him. Which I'm going to take a little bit of a side. I'm going to take this a little bit of on the side. I don't know. I might leave that to Friday's show. I may leave that up to Friday's show. Because I'm just going to say it, because it made me think about it. That's why it's cringy when I hear men sometimes get on these platforms and say that women only go for money, or the man with the money because he has money. That's only true for hoes. Hoes do that. I ain't gonna go too far into that. That deserves another show. Only hoes do that. Just the dollar. Cause you pay hoes. And hoes do got a dollar amount. They got a specific dollar amount that you pay them. And I just noticed that sometimes it's not understood what a woman wants out of a man. And it's not comprehended that we want more than the money. It's not just a dollar amount. It's the actual man and what he represents. Yeah, LaShawn. Because that's a different show. I got to get into it though. I gotta get into it. I'm gonna have to get into it. I just can't do it right now. That's definitely gonna be Friday's show. That's definitely gonna be Friday's show. Cause we gotta talk about that. We're gonna have to start talking about what lionesses want. We talk a lot about what hoes want and what the hyena standard is and what she require. But if we not trying to get her, then why do we care what she requires? Lionesses, we gotta care about more than that. We have to. That we gotta care about more than his dollar in his pocket. Now, do we want him to have dollars in his pocket? Absolutely. Absolutely. Because if you on a 10 life value kick, wealth is there. Now, you don't have to be wealthy. You understand? But we'll get to that another day. Because I got to talk about that. You know what made me think about that? Hamp's panel. I think one of the last panels he had. And listening to the brothers talk about, well, if you got money, then you ain't got to have no other qualities. Maybe for a hoe to pay for her for a little while. That's absolutely true. These are the same women that fly to Dubai to be porta potties with people. Of course, there's a dollar amount for her. It's interesting when a lioness say, I want more than that though. You don't gotta be wealthy, but I want more than the money out of you anyway. I want the other stuff out of you. It's more important. Because if I get the other stuff, money's gonna come behind that. We already know that. And then we get called cap because we say that. Anyway. Thank you, Ishiki. Said you also don't graduate from a marriage. Marriage University is the only school of learning where you don't graduate until you die. This is facts. Thank you, Vincent. So, CC, what can be done? Too many single Black women 50 plus years old think like her and already have a sickness. This is why I don't save hyenas in the boneyard. Nothing to be done about the boneyard except learn from its mistakes and don't repeat them. Thank you, Bernard. Says, should modern marriages have built-in dissolution clauses? Nope. Because there should be no such thing as a modern marriage. I'll go more in depth with that in a moment, but thank you. Thank you, Rob. Said, hey, did you see that video of Kendra G on her birthday asking her African boyfriend to get her pregnant? No, I did not see that. But um let me get back to this question. The reason why I say that modern marriages should not have built-in dissolution clauses is because the first thing first, and this is just my opinion, people can differ on the opinion, but this is just from my perspective. There's no such thing as a modern marriage. There's modern hookups. There's people trying to change it. But marriage is what the Most High said it was. And the fact we're running into all of the problems because we're trying to do everything but what the Most High said a marriage was. Because we are attempting to circumvent that, and we've been attempting to circumvent that since forever, that's when we're running into problems. That's when we're running into can't get along, people being done unfairly, broken homes, broken relationships, people being jaded, people being, what I'm saying, and all of that old other type of stuff that's going on in the society. We trying to redefine something that the Most High defined. And because we don't like that definition, or we feel like we're above that definition, or we feel like those roles are beneath us somehow, or that we have, reached some new level of intelligence, so now we are smarter than the Most High, and the definitions that he gave husband and wife are now too antiquated for us modern thinkers, high level thinkers, for us to abide by, because these are old, antiquated, religious rules that nobody has to follow anymore. That's why we having all these problems. Because we trying to make up different rules, and then when those things fail, we're trying to make up all of these safeguards to save us from the problems that got created because we're ignoring the Most High. When the resolution of the problem would be to go back to what the Most High said it was, do that, and then we won't have all these issues. See, we won't have a child support issue if you did what the Most High said to do. We wouldn't have an alimony issue if you did what the Most High said to do. We wouldn't have no fault divorces and all that kind of foolishness if we only did what the Most High told us what to do. We already got an instruction book. We got a Bible that instructed. We got the Quran that instructed. There's a lot of instruction books. Folks talking about, we don't know how to instruction how to be married. That is a lie. That is a whole entire lie. The Most High have revealed several books with detailed instructions on what to do with marriages and how to handle conflicts within marriages, how to handle divorces when they inevitably may come about, how to handle your children, how to handle all types of things, how to respect one another, how to love one another, how to even bring correction in relationships, and all sorts of good things. But we don't like them things. So we trying to have stuff like modern marriages. We trying to have stuff like, we got to do the marriage like this and do the marriage like that. We got to go down and have these entities sign a piece of paper, and we got to report down to these entities signing a piece of paper, and blah, 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 and all this other type of stuff. We got to live together for 10 years and shack up, even though the Most High said don't do that. We got to have 3 babies before we decide that we can compatible enough to get married, even though the Most High said don't do that. And we doing everything instead of what the Most High said do. And so then we having all the problems that he said we was gonna have. Diseases, all this infidelity, adultery, illegitimate children, all over the place. Community done fell apart. Every problem in the book, every old problem that he said we weren't gonna have, we having all the problems. So that's why I say no clauses, just return back. Go back to what the Most High said do. And then we won't have all them problems. We'll have regular problems that we can normally do normal life stuff, and then we can overcome that together. One more thing. Somebody in the chat a while ago, asked me if I was gonna speak on the young man. He's an actor on Power. I ain't never watched Power. He's an actor on the show Power, and he showed up on a popular TikToker's live stream. And it was a bunch of people. I seen the clip. It was a bunch of people, and the TikToker sister came into the room, and she basically began to fondle that young man. Michael Rainey is his name. She began to fondle that young man, just playing with his genitals, like just grabbing them and stuff like that. And there was other people in the room. There was even some little kids in the room that the TikToker was actually talking to at the time. So he wasn't paying attention to kind of what was going on in the background a little bit. And you could see the young man be really uncomfortable with that. He tried to laugh it off and try to kind of like, no, you know how you get caught off guard and then you be uncomfortable with what's happening. And she was like trying to talk him through it. Like she was talking to him. I don't know what she was saying to him, but she was talking to him and fondling his genitals. And he was like moving her hand like you can't do that. Like you can't fondle me. And of course I know that it's wrong. He's being groped unsolicited. He didn't ask her to do that. It was a complete violation of his personal space. It was a violation of his body. It was SA. It was essentially an assault on that man's person. But nobody is supposed to take that seriously because it was a female that did it. And even 50 Cent, which he was telling the truth, but that don't make it right. He was saying, well, I've been dealing with this type of thing like the whole time since I've been famous. And like he'll be all right and da 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 da. And 50 Cent may have had to deal with that, being in a crowd, walking through, chicks get real handsy and grab on him and pull on him and all of this other stuff. While that might actually be true, that doesn't make it right to do that, because had the genders been reversed, his career would have been canceled. You understand? They tried to cancel YK Osiris for something similar, walking up and kissing Sukihana. You understand? So we all know that is wrong. But I will say this. The men collectively have to start saying that that's wrong. It doesn't matter how you grew up. It don't matter what men have been trained to accept for all of these years, that if it's a woman touching on him, that somehow it's not as egregious, even if he don't like it, or even if he feel uncomfortable with the way that she's approaching him or talking to him or touching him, and all of these types of things. The only way that the women are going to be held just as accountable as the men are when those things happen is that the men have to say, we're victims. The men actually have to claim the victim card. The reason why we feel so strongly when men do it to women is women have no problem saying that they're the victim and crying and acting like the whole world just crumbled, right? The men are going to have to do something similar. Whenever women act out like that, Whenever they feel, because they're just too comfortable groping on these men, because she know ain't nothing gonna happen to her. But this is how female predators get away with being predators. This is how they do it. Because the men don't say, we're victims of this. This victimizes us. Right? Because it's not seen as masculine for men to be vulnerable and victims. That's not seen as masculine. So if men start whining and crying about basically the essay that women do to them, then they're seen as weak. Oh, you just whining, ain't nothing but a female. Why you saying something? She ain't hurt you. You all right. You'll be all right and all that kind of stuff. It's the men that are gonna have to be victims. And as long as y'all not gonna be victims, we can all know it's wrong, but the women are not gonna be held accountable. The double standard will continue to exist. It's a bad double standard, but that's just the real spill. It's gonna continue. These female teachers is gonna continue to be having sex with these 14 and 15-year-old boys in their school because the boys think it's cool. The boys congratulate each other. You get such and such. She trying to get you to smash. Yeah. See, y'all don't think y'all are victims. The women prey on the young boys because nobody thinks that boys can be victims of assaults like that when the woman is the predator. If it's a man, that's a different story. But if it's a woman, that's brushed under the rug. The men are gonna have to be victims. Y'all are gonna have to be victims. Y'all gonna have to cry out in one voice how victimized y'all are. Mm-hmm. And then the world will see it as just as wrong as when men do it to women. The men themselves. And y'all gonna have to stop congratulating each other for getting raped. Stop congratulating each other for that. Y'all will get these older women and y'all be 12, 13 years old. And she be about 35. And she grape you. But it ain't supposed to be seen as that. If you tell somebody, especially if you tell another male in your family, they not gonna say, oh, he was great. They gonna be like, did you hit it though? I'm just saying. Y'all do how y'all want to do. The men do what y'all want to do. I'm just saying. If you want women to start being held to a harder standard about when they overstep their bounds sexually with you, and you didn't want them to do that, and you didn't want them to touch you like that, and you don't want them to do certain things to you, then the men among themselves are going to have to stop telling each other that it's okay. I understand. Majority of men are taught to deal with it, but you taught that by other men. You're taught that majority of the time by other men. That it was not that bad. Just because women don't penetrate you. So it's not supposed to be that bad. So it's not supposed to be that bad. You understand? We know it's wrong. I know it's wrong. I know it's grape. But it's hard to hold the women to the fire collectively when the men come out and say, no, he'll be okay. He's not really a victim. It's not that bad. It is that bad. It is that bad. It actually is that bad. It's not the same, but it's that bad. Pro-feminist so it's misandry. Delusional misandry. Men who claim that women only want money is merely regurgitating what women have been saying uncontested by other women for years. So I hate men because I'm saying that lionesses want more from a man than his money, and that the man actually means more than his dollar. I just want to get it straight. I hate men, right? Because I'm saying that as a lioness, we actually value men beyond his pocket. I just want you to clarify. Just trying to clarify. Please, somebody post the membership link for Deetra. Is Mark English gone? Yeah, you're trolling and you're gone. Wanted to have a troll conversation. Block them. Don't know the meaning of the word misandry. Misandry is a hatred of men. So we hate men. Like I just want to say that in layman's terms. So a woman hates a man because we have more value, we see more value in the man than whatever his checkbook say. That we understand that he has more to offer the world than his money. That's a new definition of misandry that I never heard of before. But I guess it ain't tricking if you got it. A hyena want to be devalued for his dollar. This is just a hyena male want to be devalued for the dollar. Want to be relegated down to $1. And so when you lose your money, what's your value then? Thank you, Christians. And remember, they accused that pastor of grabbing Ariana Grande for a church hug at Aretha Franklin's funeral. The silence is deafening right now. Exactly. Thank you, Deetra, for your super sticker. Thank you, John Tell said, aren't alimony tears enough? Thank you, L2 says, salute. Thank you so much. And thank you, Wouldn't You Like to Know? Thank you so much for all of the contributions. I really appreciate it. I hope y'all understand what I'm talking about with that essay. That is an unfortunate double standard that exists in our society. The concept that only women can be victims of sexual assaults, and that men, no matter how young in boyhood they are, can't be the victim of sexual assault if the person assaulting them is a female. Yet we know that there are so many female predators. But I'm telling you that's how they are getting away with it. Because they don't penetrate men, it is not seen as such an egregious violation. But it is a violation of these men, especially when we're talking about little kids, the little boys, because it's not just the pubescent boys that's capable of actually having sex physically if they wanted to. It's the prepubescent boys. It's the little boy. It's the 6-year-old. It's the 7-year-old. It's him too. Okay? It's him too. That the women around him, the babysitters, the girl cousins, and all of that type of stuff, they get around that little boy and they molest him. And he don't know the difference. He don't know what's happening to him. All he know is he being touched in a way that he should not be getting touched. And it's extremely unfortunate because this society only sees men as predatorial, and they fail to see women as just as predatorial. It's even worse when the women do it actually because she can hide under the guise of she can't do that because she can't penetrate anybody biologically. She can't penetrate anybody. So, it's just touching, and but it's not. It's not. It's not just anything. It's just grape is what it is. We got to call it. We got to call the spade what we got to call a spade a spade. We got to call a thing a thing. Just because a female is doing it doesn't make her any less of a predator. She's preying on innocent young boys that can't defend themselves and that society isn't going to defend either. And she hides under I'm a woman. So I couldn't really bring a lot of harm to him anyway, which is false. Because especially when you do it to a young little boy, he gets this warped thing. It messes him up. It's just as bad as mothers being emotionally incestuous with the son husband thing and involving their sons with them in an emotional capacity that they are not able to deal with, treating them like grown men and treating them like they're their men. All of that is victimizing that victimizes men. That victimizes them at the earliest stages where they can't defend themselves. They can't defend themselves. And it messes them up. And I feel bad for that because so many young men were victims of grape. And they're trained by society not to see it that way, not to see that there was as wrong as it was, or it was as bad as it was. I can't stand predators of any kind, because they prey on the weak. That's why they predators. They prey on and they use things to their advantage to make sure that they're not caught. But I bet you if somebody started throwing these chicks under the jail and exposing them for being predators, then some things would change. Exactly. The only ones that put a stem to that is fathers. That's why fathers are so very, very important in children's lives, because they protect them. The boys are not protected. They're sent out there. They got to fend for themselves no matter what happens to them, and it's horrible. Right. All the women dressed inappropriate in front of the boy, half naked, twerking on. Yeah, they be twerking on the little boy, naked with the little booty shorts on, and that's supposed to be cute because he a boy. You understand? That's supposed to be cute because he a boy and his chicks on him and it's coochie. But what can he do with that? He don't even know what to do with that. He don't know, but he's feeling like this is okay because of the feedback he's getting. People are clapping, people are laughing, people are having a good time, and it's usually a bunch of females doing it to this little boy. I have seen so many countless videos of chicks twerking on from anywhere from their sons to on stage to twerking on little boys. Sukihana did it in one of her little nasty videos. She was twerking on a little boy. He looked like he was no more than about 10, 11 years old. Nobody canceled her for that. You understand? Because it's supposed to be cute. Oh, the little man, he getting the women already. No, he not getting no women already. These women is grown, and they're essaying, they're graping basically this little boy. They're taking advantage of this little boy. What are we missing here? Because if it was some men gyrating on a 10, 11-year-old girl, we wouldn't have no problem seeing the problem with that. We would see the problem immediate. If it was a bunch of men grinding up on some 8, 9, 10-year-old girls talking about it's a birthday party, nobody would find humor in that. Nobody. Wouldn't be no, hey, wouldn't be none of that. Because what is you doing with them little girls? See, we got to start thinking of our little boys like that. I didn't talk bad about KS. When I talk bad about him? I may not agree with every single point he ever made, but when did I talk bad about him? Like, I'm going to need examples. Anyway. Probably block him too, matter of fact. Anyway, Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead, get on up out of here. Jump down in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Like, share, subscribe to the channel if you have not. Once again, I'm your hostess, The Crimson Cure, and this was my perspective. Bye-bye, Crimsonites.